Welcome to the Lighthouse Project. If anybody wants to raise their hand also, who's the first time here? First time here? Wow. Amazing. Cool. Welcome everybody. This is the Lighthouse Project. We do this every Wednesday night.
Just come closer, guys. Come closer. Please come closer. This way.
It's really a pleasure to have everybody here tonight.
I'm not Moroccan, I can't scream.
We're starting now this whole singles thing. This is our second event, and we're going to be, God willing, building this up on a week-to-week, not week-to-week, but a monthly level. And we had this class with Gedale almost about a year ago, and it was an amazing class that affected a lot of people. And we thought, you know what, let's bring it back again and do a part 2 of From Roommate to Soulmate. So this night, we want to just go ahead and thank tonight's generous sponsors. First of all, this night could not have happened without the sponsorship of the Eisenberg family in honor of Tuvia Eisenberg's father, Reuben Ben Shaul Halevi Zichrono Livracha, who was a very passionate person, and his father was always about into making shidduchim happen. And so they brought this down to their children, and that's their goal, and that's what the fuel and the fire behind these EXO singles events, tied with Gedale, now tied with another organization called Orna Match. If you guys want to write that down, we'll put that out later. ornamatch.com, which is doing all singles and matching in a really cool way. So thank you very much for that. And also in honor of the Refuah Shlema of Menachem Mendel Ben Sarah Batia, should have a complete Refuah Shlema.
Amen.
The Lighthouse Project is also in honor of the Refuah Shlema of Devorah Fega Bad Reisel. She has a complete Refuah Shlema.
Amen.
Today's sponsors also are Arthur Lax for the yard side of David Tzvi Ben Yitzchak Kakon Zichrono Livracha, and to bless Gedale and Ruchniut and Gashmiut, and to have a special tolerance for our Moroccan brothers and sisters.
He said it, not me. He said it, not me. Somebody I know.
Anonymous for the Refuah Shlema of Chaya Leo Bat Tali and Simcha Bat Joa, and in memory of Rivka Bat Mesouda Zichrono Livracha. Anonymous for the Refuah Shlema of Shaul Ben Berta, and in memory of Edward David Shaul Zichrono Livracha, and for Gedaliah, may Hashem bless him with patience.
Amen. Maybe I need to sit over here.
Anonymous in honor of the children Daniel and Siobhan Lewis, may they return to the Torah, may Hashem be merciful and help him find a zivug, and may Hashem continue to bless Gedaliah with wisdom, health, and protection. Yocheved Bar Avraham for a favorable judgment, and Refuah Shlema of Akiva Nachshon Ben Fega. Anonymous in honor of Bracha Bat Rachel for clarity in her career and being ready to meet her match.
Amen.
Truly Stern for the merit of good health for his mother, Esther Bas Hana, should have a complete Refuah Shlema. Anonymous in honor of Hadat Tova Bat Dorit, Chayat Bat Chava, and Daniel Bat Eva for clarity in finding the right zivuk.
Amen.
Mirazara in honor of the Refuah Shlema of Nicholas Itzhak Chai Ben Gracie Lenora, and Dina Dalal Kani, the Rosh Nishman of her brother Dennis Dalal. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Michael. Wow. A lot of new faces in the audience. Can everybody hear me? Everybody can hear me? Perfect. So these classes are very dear to me. The reason why is I remember 15, 16 years ago, I used to throw parties in South Beach, and I was almost this close to being intermarried. So I said, wow, one book saved my life. So I said, my whole mission in my life is really to do these classes, to give people awareness and to give people dot, to give people perception, to understand this is a whole different world. You know, one thing the Yetzer Hara does is he spiritually cools you off. So unfortunately today, you see a lot of people are cooled off in spirituality. And this is all connected, obviously, with man's biggest test, which is the Department of the Brit, which we're going to talk about today. So we're going to get you warmed up, and we're going to give you different meaning and a different why. Everybody's telling you what to do and how to do it, but nobody's telling you why you need to do it. If we focus on the why, then we can change the game. Obviously, we need to understand that the entire mitzvah of marriage is designed for soul correction for the husband. According to the dry law, a woman doesn't even need to get married, nor she doesn't even have to have kids. That's only upon the husband. We have to understand. They come here only to fix us. Understand that right off the bat. So you need to look for the best coach out there, not the best cheerleader. So they come here to fix us. It's very important to understand that. Because if I'm a guy and I don't realize that it's my job to go look for the second half. It's not the girl's job to look for the second half. It's my job to look for the second half of me. So that's something we need to very understand, because unfortunately, a lot of people they're giving a lot into their impulses, and they're forgetting about their vision in the future. So this is something that's going to make you think twice. This class is going to have a lot of information. Our sources are from the Zohar. Our sources are not from Oprah Winfrey. This is like real sources. You're not going to get it on Soul Oxygen. You're going to get things that work. I have no business doing these classes, except for God put me in this position. Believe me, I have 4 kids. I'm married, thank God. May my wife have strength. I have no business. I'm not even single or anything. But I said, nobody's talking about what people need to hear. So I said, I can't watch this happen. And thank God, yesterday we went to a wedding. I get wedding invitations almost every day in my house for people that we set up, people that we help transform. So this is something that I'm seeing the fruits, because it's tough to deal with singles. It's tough to deal with singles. And if I don't see those wedding invitations coming to my house, I would say, you know what? It's too much work. Because obviously, unfortunately, there's a lot of pickiness, there's a lot of judgmental, whatever it is. We want to focus on the positive in this class, and we want to give you specific instructions on what to do. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm a very no-nonsense kind of guy. So I'm not going to tell you what feels good. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. That's the difference. So let's and I want you, number one thing is, I want people to have an open mind. Just have an open mind. Don't judge it, digest it, have an open mind. Some people originally, when they heard these classes, they're like, it's impossible, I'm not doing this. And then little by little, it sunk in, and it sunk in. Today we have over 7,000 people in our daily WhatsApp group. Many of them are not affiliated. And now all of a sudden they start hearing things, their life becomes better, and they start approaching Judaism instead of avoiding Judaism. So we need to get closer to God. We need to approach life, God forbid, not avoid life. Okay? So remember, man's job, the majority of the work here is for the man to look for the second half of his wife. We need to understand that. We need to understand it. That means we have to look for we can't just focus on the trophy wife. We have to focus on the wife that gets us the trophy. See the difference? If you just focus on the trophy wife, you need to focus on the wife that can get you the trophy. That means when I'm looking for the second half, I'm looking for the second half of me. You go into a business partnership. You're not going to look for a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. So you really want a second half that complements you. That means if I'm a fire sign, I might need somebody to cool me off. If I'm a water sign, I might need somebody to fire me up. You're almost looking for a partnership in the same soul, because the souls come down as one, and then it gets separated. So you're really looking for the second half of you. So we have to be very careful with our distractions. We have to be careful on how much time we spend going away from our soulmate. Either we're approaching our soulmate, or we're going away from our soulmate. Every single move you make every single day, every day you have, either you're going towards your mission or away from your mission. Basically, our life comes down to our decisions. Bottom line, I made a decision to get married. I got married in 30 days. In Miami, I could have had many options, but I know there's no such thing as perfectionism, and it's more important for me to save my soul than to feed my impulses. We know that there's three things battling it out every single time. There's the body, there's the soul, and there's the ego. The body wants to do what looks good, what feels good. The ego wants to do what looks good, and the soul wants to do what is good. So that's the battle you have today. So according to how much, if a person really wants a soulmate, he has to be in his soul state. Remember, if I want a soulmate, I have to look for my soul, to have to be in a soul state. Very, very, very important. That means I'm looking for a spiritual. A lot of times, unfortunately, what's going on is the physicality is blocking the spirituality. So you're getting a clouded picture. Even though it could be the perfect guy or the perfect girl, but what happens when too much physicality, what happens, that's what we're going to talk about, these create things called klipot. Klipot are negative spiritual things that you can't see. You can't see it on Tinder. You can't see how many klipot the guy has on the match. You can't see this guy, 2,500 klipot. These things you can't see. But what happens, you can feel them. So you can see sometimes, we see that you meet a guy and you say, wow, the guy's handsome, but something's off with the guy. Something's off. What's that negative feeling? I feel something off that you feel it klipot. So I've had classes where people's faces changes. That means you can actually get a spiritual facelift, not just Botox, a spiritual facelift. When a person has spirituality, what is he doing? He's feeding his soul. Not instead of having soul dehydration. That means if we don't feed our souls daily, what happens? We become hydrated. So if we don't love ourselves, we end up losing ourselves. Remember. So how come it's so, it's unbelievable that I see, unfortunately I also have many friends that are intermarried. And I said, did you have any obstacles at the wedding? No obstacals, everything went fine. The hotel booked, everything went great. But when a Jew and another Jew tries to get together, the mother-in-laws come. This one wants this, that one wants this. How come there's so much complicated? Yeah, the guy marries out of religion, 24 hours, he gets married, no klipot, no nothing. Because anything that's spiritual, you have the other side trying to block it. Understand that. That means if things are going too smooth, you got a problem. You got a problem. Because anything spiritual has to have the other side trying to suck energy out of it. Does that make sense? So, what's happening a lot, and obviously the crisis in New York, I think 3,000 single or Orthodox girls in New York that are not married. The crisis everywhere across the board. There's a big problem obviously with guys committing. They don't want to commit. I think the numbers are, 50% of people are not married, and those 50% are married, 60% of those are married out of the religion. Married out of religion. So we see, God forbid, there's a silent Holocaust. It's unbelievable. Everybody, they light a candle for the Holocaust, remember, but what are you doing? There's a silent one going on. 80, 90, look at these numbers. These numbers are horrific. And it's something that you see little by little. People don't have kids. Look what's happening in Europe today. Nobody's getting married. Place is full of Arabs. The whole country is destroyed. Look at Europe today. It's absolutely destroyed. They stopped getting married. So what happens? The Muslims come to destroy Europe. So this is reality. It's not something that we can sit there and say, yeah, I'll try it. No, this is reality. So again, our life comes down to our decisions, and we have to make sure we are making the right ones. Remember. We also have to understand, for guys, a lot of guys says, I'm dealing with a lot of financial difficulties. I don't want to get married. I don't commit. But you have to understand, money comes on account of your wife. How do you like that one? Did you ever know that one? Money comes on account of a guy's wife. That means you should be running to get married, not running away to get married. What happens? They're running away to get married and they're losing money. Rav Nachman says it here in lesson 69. This is from the Gemara. This is not just breast of sources. So that's why I'm going to give the guys a big why. If you have enough of a why, you say, you know what? What's this costing me? It's costing me money. It's costing me my soulmate. Is this girl worth it? And you start thinking and make a decision. Am I worth wasting my whole future just on impulses? That's what we got to make decisions. So he's saying here, Rav Nachman here in lesson 69, that he says here that the woman is the aspect of wealth, and wealth comes from the north, from the left side, from the concept of a nefesh. That means a soul comes with a female counterpart and a male counterpart and a female counterpart. The female counterpart is called the nefesh, and that's where the wealth comes from. So that's why the Gemara is telling us, honor your wives so you will become wealthy. You have a better chance of making more money, getting married, than opening up a new business, fooling around. How do you like that one? How do you like that one? You have a better chance.
Repeat again.
That's why I need to yell these things to people, because obviously, listen, maybe a guy's not going to listen to a rabbi, but they'll listen to me. I'm a businessman, I'm not a rabbi, but you guys need to understand, you need a bigger why. Everybody's talking about a what and a how. Where is the why? So if I link financials to you, if I link clarity, Another things that klipot do to a guy specifically is they block their vision. What are klipot? Let's talk about what these klipot. I talk about them all the time. And also, don't think the girls are off the hook either. Don't think that. Because what happens is, sometimes the girls don't have self-esteem, they don't hold out, and what happens, they're giving away free milk also. And that's destroying the guy also. So don't think the girls are off the hook either. You can aid the guy to have klipot. So you have to understand something. There's a simple law in life. A guy wants what he can't have. Once he has it, he will not want it anymore. You should clap to that. That's a simple law. That means the more you give in, the less he wants. Not just on because he got what he wanted, but the klipot cool him off spiritually. This is what we're worried about. How could it be the guy, he's going to yeshiva his whole life, the whole life is spiritual. Next thing you know, one girl comes, he drops everything for one girl? How could it be? When there's 3,000 Jewish girls in New York, and there's thousands of girls waiting to get married, you almost want to cry. You almost want to cry to see what's going on. So how could it be? How could it be that I should become so spiritually unsensitive that it doesn't bother me if I intermarry? It doesn't care who I date. It should bother a person. If his soul should be crying out. But what happens, a person becomes spiritually insensitive. And then he doesn't care. Then he doesn't care. That's what the Yetzer Hara does. It cools you up. Doesn't heat you up. It cools you up. It heats you up in other things. But not in the right things. So Rav Nachman's talking about these klipot. That means when a person is not looking for the more physicality he gets. Again, I'm not telling you to be angels. I'm just telling you, recognize the problem. Recognize that there is a problem, and these things are interfering with your success. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm giving you advice on what to do to help financially, spiritually, and your soul across the board. Again, I'm not a preacher. I'm just giving you advice. Let me get that straight. Rav Nachman tells us that there's 3 klipot. And I'm sure many girls have gone through this, and I speak to them all the time. I'm dating this wonderful guy. I said, okay, wonderful. He's great. He loves me. Blah, blah, blah. I said, do me a favor. Just don't get too physical with the guy, because then he's going to call it off. What are you talking about? He loves me. He bought me this. He bought me that. He bought me that. I just, do me a favor. Did you not listen to what I said? Don't get too physical with the guy. Next thing you know, a week later, I don't know what happened. He left me. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? You get the same lesson until you pass it. Let's remember that. We get the same lesson until we pass it. So, I also have a spiritual, that's why anytime that a guy, and I'm dealing with a lot of guys, and the first thing I'm dealing with the guys, I said, let's not worry about money, let's not worry about OCDs, let's not worry about any of these things. Let's focus one thing, spiritually, let's get you spiritually clean. Because if I get you spiritually clean, you're going to have vision, and you're going to make a decision. Right now, you have so many klipot, you don't know what's right and you don't know what's wrong. So how can I help you with anything else? So first we work on spiritual. Again, I was that guy in South Beach. I was the guy throwing parties, and I'm telling you, I had tons of fun. But guess what? I crashed heavy duty. So there's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. You get the fun, but you get the crash also. It's not just the fun. It's like a fish at the end of the day. You think he's before he dies, he's flapping, but he's really dead. He's really dead. But it looks like he's having fun. Remember, it looks fun. It looks like everybody's having a great time. Oh, pictures. But they don't show you the guy in the morning that he can't get up. They don't show you the guy depressed. They don't show you the guy taking. Everybody shows on Instagram what they want to show. They're not showing the guy what time he's waking up at 11 o'clock with no energy. They don't show the guy smoking marijuana and masturbating all day long with no energy. They don't show you that, obviously. Just the picture with the girl so he can get his likes, but they don't show you the rest. So this, I'm here to tell you, we got to cut the BS, and we have to fix this situation. And sometimes in synagogues they don't talk about this, but they're not helping the guys get to the goal. It's just you're not relaying the message the right way. So Rav Nachman's telling us, what are these 3 klipot? What exactly do they do? First one is called the storm wind. The storm wind is when a guy has financial difficulties, and he has a lot of storm wind would be like his emotions are going right and left. He can't focus. Can't focus. What happens if you can't focus? You can't focus, you can't make money. You can't focus, you can't be present. You can't focus, you can't make the right decision. You're driving spiritually drunk. That's what's happening. That's the first klipot. which is called the storm wind. So a lot of people have, unfortunately, I run a 56-bed drug rehab facility. They're dealing with the addictions of drugs, but not dealing with the other addictions. You understand? Which is all connected to the way we think. So that's the first one. It's called the storm wind. The klipot, what do? Klipot suck energy from a person. They suck energy. You can have the best wife right in front of your face, but you can't make that decision because the klipot will not allow you to do it. You can have, what do you mean? She's perfect for you. Don't you see, guys? What do you mean? She's perfect. Don't you see it? Why don't you just commit? No, I don't feel like it. Where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from? It's coming from klipot. And the good thing about this, it's not to be desperate. Is we can help and we can fix it. This is not about desperation. It's about strategy and fixing it. It's not, every class of mine has, okay, this is what's happening and this is how to fix it. You understand? So it's not just about that. The second one, the second klipa is called the great cloud. This is where the cloudiness, where a person's cloudy, can't make a decision. Again, these all have to do with making decisions, making a commitment, deciding what to do. It's all connected to the same thing. So that's called a great cloud, which is also, it's another klipa that's creating this. Okay? The third thing is called this flashing fire. This is this addictive personality to go for addictions, to just have massive anger and lack of self-respect. These are not the person. The person is a soul, and these things are klipot. We have to understand that if I am a soul, I can separate myself from this by little cleansing it. How do you do that? Tikkun HaKlali, mikvah, and obviously stop doing what you're doing to bring the klipot. So that's the number one thing. That's why you see guys are not committing to marriage, because they're cooled off spiritually. They say, why should I go for this girl? She's telling me what to do all day long. When I have this wonderful girl here, telling me how great I am. Do you understand? He doesn't see, I need a soulmate, not a cheerleader. Don't you think that's going to get old? So you never hit your potential. The worst thing in your life is not to be able to hit your potential. There's no greater cry than that. That means my soul thrives on two things: growing and giving. If I'm not growing and giving, I'm shrinking and taking. If I'm not in my soul state, I'm shrinking and taking. Remember, the ego loves lust, the soul loves love. So if it's all about lust, what are you doing? You're feeding into your Yetzer Hara. And again, this is our test in this world. That's why Rav Nachman came down and fixed this. What do you think he came down here for? He says 70 to 80% of the world, back in Ukraine, 200 years ago, has this problem. Imagine today. So again, these things will change your life, and a person has to understand there's nothing wrong with me. I just have a lot of layers on me. That's the problem. And that's why I can't make decisions. If I can't make decisions, I can't commit to marriage, I can't commit to kids, I can't commit to anything. Then the girls lose their hope, and they think everybody's like that, but we don't have the right instructions. So it's very, very, very important, because remember, it's easy to fall in love, but it's not so easy to stay in love. Everybody can fall in love in 1 minute. Staying in love is a whole different ball game. Okay? That's what these klipot do. So that's what we have to eliminate. Okay? The Lubavitcher Rebbe says, a king without a queen, the Zohar says, is neither great nor a king, for it's a woman who empowers the man to conquer. The woman is supposed to get you to get the trophy. You understand? She's not there. She's there to be your guide. You know, it's one thing if a girl says, you know what, I'm dating Jeff Bezos from Amazon. They're going to say, okay, you're a trophy wife. One thing is the girl says, I made Jeff Bezos. Two different stories. I dated Jeff Bezos. That means if you're the right wife, you're supposed to build your man to get to the potential where he has to be. That's the difference. So a woman has to go in there and say, you know what, this guy's got so much potential, I can get it out of him. We can't just be focusing on taking, you have to be focusing on giving. So when a woman goes and gives and says, you know what, this guy's got so much potential. I know my wife, Moroccan, French, she definitely completed me in areas that I was missing. She gave me fire. Moroccans have tons of fire. They're shooting fire everywhere. But I needed fire. Obviously, sometimes you don't ask for it, but you get it anyway. But somehow when you get fire, you move. And she led me to that. So again, I didn't marry the exact copy of me, because what's the benefit of Amazon going with Amazon? No, they look for strategic partners. So we also have to approach dating as strategic partners. So we can't just be focusing on the pickiness. Oh, they don't have that, they don't have this, they don't have that. Your big why should be, I can make this guy better. I know he's missing this, I know he's missing that. I can make him better. Well, classes after, questions after. So that's the main point. That means when I go to give, I get everything. When I go to take, I don't get all the time. Remember, you get absolutely nothing. 100%. So remember, our soul loves to give, not take. So if a person's extremely picky, what do you do? You need to buy in the potential. Even myself, all the businesses that I've opened up were after I got married. It wasn't before. It was after I got married, that's when the blessing came. Blessings come after you get married, not before. Before you were just a half. But when you get married, you become a whole. Do you understand? Because the money comes from the wife, not from the girlfriend. Understand that. So our job should be really to run after and get married. And say, what am I doing? What is this costing me? Ask yourself, what is this ta'avot costing you? So that's something we have to understand. The Rebbe Rashab says something beautiful. King Solomon says that a home is built with wisdom, not with a hammer. So also, there's an approach. That means if you want to build the guy up, you can't hammer him right away. You know, there's everything, again, coaches get fired too. And there's coaches that get replaced. So it has to be with finesse and it has to be with tough love, but not with a hammer. You know, the way you know who do it. So then you can absolutely lose them. So these are the things that we need to understand. So Rav Nachman's telling us here that the aspect of the wife is the aspect of the nefesh, it's the aspect of wealth. That means and that's what the Gemara says, one who lives without a wife lives without a wall. If you see where I'm going in this speech, I'm giving you why. Where's your why? I'm building up your why. If I have a why, the rest is history. If I don't have a why, then I don't have enough motivation to get married or to commit. You understand? That's what we're missing here. We're missing that why. You listen to a lot of speeches, there's no why. Yeah, you should get married, it's good for you, it's good. But the why is not big enough. The why should be, I'm crying right now because I'm incomplete. I'm not in my soul state. And I need to get there. What do I need to do next? I need to open up my mind. I need to starve my distractions. And I need to feed my focus. And I need to look for the second half of my soul. That means I have to be able to stop with this perfection garbage and look for imperfections. That means wait until you get married. You're going to have plenty of imperfections. That means if the person is 70, 80% good, it's good enough. Don't go for 100. It doesn't exist. 70, 80 with growth, go for it. But if we're going for 100%, the person doesn't get married because it's gava. Who are you to say I want 100%? Especially when the person himself is missing so many things. So we don't want this 100% perfect. He's not perfect. I'm not feeling it, etc., etc. Yes, you have to be attracted 100%. Yes, you have to have chemistry. But yes, there's always going to be things that are off. No such thing as perfect. Because we are born to bring light into darkness. You're not born with light. You're born with darkness, and you have to infuse light into darkness. That's our mission in this world. So this is why the Gemara says, one who lives without a wife lives without a wall. What does the wall mean? Without protection, without happiness, without joy, etc., etc., etc. But why should I get married? Everybody look at all my friends, they're miserable getting married. They're not doing the right thing. See, the Yetzer Hara will make you focus on what's missing in your life. He'll show you, see, whatever you focus on, you will see. If you focus on excuses, you'll find tons of them. If you focus on growth, you will find it. It's whatever you want to focus. You want to focus on the negative? Oh, you will see it. You focus on the positive, you'll see happy people. It all depends on what a person focuses on. So that's why the Gemara is telling you here, one who lives without a wall. So if you're crying financially, if you're complaining, you have no energy, you have this, and you have girls that you could have married, stop complaining and get to work. Stop complaining. Who are you complaining to? Don't cry. Cry to become better. Person should say, you know what? I have to stop complaining. I have to cry to get better. That means you're crying anyway. At least one way you're going to get an answer for it. The other one you're just going to get tears. So a person says, I need to become better. What's stopping me? What's the number one distraction in my life? Is it that girl that keeps on hooking up with me? Erase her number. And that's the beginning. That's step one. Step one is taking action. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of talking. If it's the girl, erase her number right away. Says, I'm a different person. As of tonight, I don't do this anymore. I'm a different person. I'm not in the klipot business. Call somebody else. That's the action you need to take. Because, again, it's the guy's job to find the second half of the soul. They're only coming here to procreate. That means the girl came home in this world just for you, to help you, and you're supposed to go find her, and you're in Key West, and she's in Orlando. So that's something, it's not, and unfortunately today, Reb Nachman said it 250 years ago, the more arrogant people become, the more they brag on how many girls they had relations with. You understand the problem? That means if I'm a crook, I should not say, look how much money I stole today. Look how many people I robbed today. It's not a good thing to say, look how far I'm away from my mission in my life. Look how lost I am in my life. That's a good thing to say? You're just telling yourself how completely lost you are. So arrogance is connected with the problem with the Brits. It's connected. So what happens to arrogant people? They fall very big. They fall very big. And again, you're going to tell me, what about this guy? He's happy. He's married to this girl. When a person's married to his right zivug, which is obviously the right girl for him, he has the name Shin Dalid Yud, which is the name Shakai. That's the nice name you see on the mezuzah. Oh, what a beautiful mezuzah. What's that name Shin Dalid Yud represent? Shin Dalid Yud represents the name enough. That means I am content. You know how many phone calls I get today? What do I do? My husband's cheating on me. Do you try to keep mikvah? No, I didn't keep mikvah. Do you try to do Shabbat? No. I said, what's stopping him from... What's stopping him? What's stopping him? A man is as good as his next option. That's the bottom line. If we don't have Torah in our lives, we're as good as our next option. Bottom line. If a good-looking guy, he's going to have a lot of options. The guy's not so, he's not going to have so many options. He'll do other things. So a man is as good as his own options. So if a person doesn't have spirituality in his life, then he doesn't have anything holding him back and said, you know what, I have enough, I'm content with my wife. But if he doesn't have that, what happens? Takes a right. Somebody smiles at him at work, he has a rough day at work, he lost him. All day long it's happening. Addicted person, remember, I own a drug and rehab facility. I see people all day long. 90 to 80% of people going in there are guys. Guys with addicted personalities. That means God created the Yetzer Hara and He created an antidote for it. That's called the Torah. That's called Judaism. That's called, if we do not connect to the Torah, guess what? The Yetzer Hara's got you. That means you have no shot already. Unless that it forces a person to either go into the Torah or nothing. When the Jews got the Torah in Sinai, it's either, Hashem says very simple, either you take the Torah or you're going to have tohu vohu, confusion, lost, etc. So it's not about, you can be with a guy who's very wealthy, but for him, nothing's enough. Nothing's enough. It's like, would you be jealous of a guy playing poker? Of a gambler? Oh, that's a great life. I don't want to be, he's never going to quit. It's not about winning, it's about quitting. When could you stop? So again, the only thing that we have today that's stopping us from doing that is Hashem, is being satisfied. Because if I'm satisfied, I don't need any extra things. I'm happy, I'm content. I have the name Shin Daled Yud. Shabbat comes, I close up. I don't need to run after money. But if I don't have that name Shin Daled Yud, what happens? I need something else. I need more. More food, more drugs, more gambling, more sex, etc. So without that name, which is the mezuzah, that name says it's enough. You understand? So again, what are we investing in? You have to look for a guy also. Don't just look for a stimulus package, look for a spiritual package. Stimulus package, wonderful. You need to also look for a spiritual package. Because the stimulus package, without a spiritual package, like Obama came, nobody got any money. Nobody got any money. Who got any money from this? Nobody. So again, I like to joke around with these one-liners, but sometimes these one-liners just stick in your head. Because otherwise, what leverage do I have with a guy telling him, listen, you got to dump that girl, and you got to marry your Jewish wife that's going to tell you what to do, but she'll become better. What do I need that for? Why would I do that? They're going to look at you like you're crazy. But if I tell you it's costing you money, If I tell you it's costing your soul, if I tell you it's costing you this, then once we talk about money, people don't want to hear about Olam Haba. They don't care about it. They need to know what is the benefiting me now. So that's why I'm giving you a very direct approach. This is the Miami version of this. So now we understand that everything comes from the person's wife. So the husband has to say, like I said, I got married in 30 days, and I knew what to do. I had the formula. When you have that, you know what to do. You get going. My wife came straight to my house. I didn't even have to go looking because I had the formula. If you have the formula, you get results 100%. But if you don't have the formula, what happens? Then we get lost. And this also, why should I also marry a girl who's the right half, second half of me? Because she has intuition. How do I know if I'm in a business deal and this guy's trying to rob me, and I would never see it? Because man comes from chachma, man comes from intelligence. A woman is born with intuition. That means God's giving you a free alarm clock. He's giving you a free FBI agent to go and check a person out. So the woman comes from Bina. So why wouldn't you want a wife to tell you, listen, stay away from this guy, stay away from that guy? She comes with intuition. Again, you're not utilizing the best opportunity. When you have a wife, she gives you that intuition because she's protecting her also. When she sees somebody coming to you, Rav Nachman says in lesson 69, she sees that somebody's coming to take something from her soul. So what does she do? Like a tree that shrinks, she begins to shrink, and she tells her husband, don't do business with this guy. How do you know? You're not even in this business. You're not in that business. How do you know anything about any of this? She has intuition. That's the gift that she has. She's the moon, we're the sun. So again, these are all advantages to build your why on why you should get focused and start fixing. If a person needs to fix his Brit. Okay? That's lesson 69. 87. If I'm too hard, please let me know. I'll do harder. Lesson 87. He literally gave us this recipe for finding your soulmate. Rav Nachman says it here. He's saying here that when a person, what does blemishing a Brit mean? Blemishing a Brit means having relationships out of marriage. Blemishing means spilling seed. These are, even if he's single, he's not dating anybody. These things cause a person to go away from the derech. There's 224 lights. You could see why more women are more spiritual, right? Don't worry, not just the Jews have this problem. The Mormons have this problem also. All the Mormons left Mormonism. They're not Mormons anymore. That means there's 150 Mormon girls to every 100 Mormon guys. So that's why there's more plastic surgeons in Utah than there is anywhere else, because they're losing the guys. All the Mormon guys are getting out of the church. So all these girls are single and they're stuck. So there's a guy that he wrote a book called Datanomics, and he's explaining how the same correlation between Jews and Mormons, they both have a shidduch crisis. It's the same thing, because when we leave Hashem, we go and God forbid intermarry or whatever happens. And they have the same problem. So all the Mormons and the women are more spiritual. They're not so easy to intermarry so much. So that's why it's lopsided by 2-1. So that's why so they have the same problem. It's not just a Jewish problem. It's also that. So Rav Nachman's telling us here that this concept, the word called derech. Derech is referred to the way. It's very simple. I'm going to make it super simple for your zivug. And again, I've helped tons of people get married. Tons. Not one, not two, tons. That's why I opened up this dating website, because I figured, you know what, if I can get them in there, I can intervene. I can do an intervention in the middle, even though they don't realize I'm doing an intervention. So that's why I did the dating website, not because I need to do a dating website. I have tons of things to do, and the last thing is the dating website. So, and that's why now it's called Order Match, because she's going to take it over. Because we need to explain to the guys that you have two decisions every day. Either the wife is called the derech, the wife is called the way. Either a person is going in the derech, that means in the way of his wife, or the other way, the way of a promiscuous woman. That's it. Bottom line. You're going either here or you're going here. The more here, the less likely you will find your zivug. So guess what? What happens if he finally fools around and you finally said, you know, I want to get married when I'm 40 something, I'm ready to settle down? You know what happens? The first year of marriage, it becomes a heavyweight fight. Why? Because he has to pay back for all the fooling around. So a lot of people, when they get married late, the first year of marriage is hell. It's nothing to do with the wife. It has to do with the klipot that have to be, when you suffer, you get rid of these klipot. So you usually see the first year of marriage, it's hell. It's because she opposes him even though she married him. So guess what? Maybe he's lucky. He finds her. The first year, the first couple years, it becomes very, very tough because you're still dealing with these klipot from the other marriage, from what you did on the outside. Understand? So that's why we want to stop it as much as possible, because the more a person does it, the more problems he's got to get involved with. So Rav Nachman's saying here that either he says that occasionally, as a result of this blemish, it's possible to lose your zivug, your soulmate. Having turned away from his soulmate, it's difficult for him to find her. And even if he finds her, she's going to oppose him and do what he doesn't want. So that's where you see the problem here. That's where the problem. So when I fix my bridge, I'm connected, I go back this way. Basically, you're going backwards. The minute a person starts spiritually cleansing, he starts making a U-turn and starts finding who his mate is. That's the recipe. Now, the girls have to understand that, what am I worried? If I don't have relations with this guy, he's not going to commit to me. Guess what? Now you know the spiritual way. You're confusing him. You're helping him confuse him. So that doesn't help either. You understand? So the woman also has to say, listen, let's get married quickly, and then you can do whatever you want. But before, all the problems begin, and all the relationship breakups, and all these fights, and it doesn't come as a fight from the couple. It comes all of a sudden, my mother-in-law doesn't like you. Or all of a sudden, this happens. These exterior things that happen that make absolutely no sense are coming all from the other side to block marriages. So we need to understand that. So again, look at the divorce rate today. Look at the problems today. You have to realize there's a big problem going out there, and nobody's talking about the elephant in the room. Why are there so many single girls and so many guys fooling around with them? What's going on? Something's not right. It's because of this. We're not educated with the Torah. We're not educated with the right classes. So these 224 lights, it's the magic number. Either you're shining into her or you're shining away. Also, even if a guy's married, for example, all of a sudden the guy's married, and next thing you know, he goes somewhere and he starts having a little fling with somebody. He comes home, his wife will start, where were you? What do you mean? How do you know where I was? Because she senses her light going away from her. So a woman's very sensitive with her light. She knows either she's getting the light or somebody else is getting the light. So she's very sensitive right away. She knows something's off. It's not a physical thing. She didn't track you down. She doesn't have your GPS. She doesn't have your iPhone, but she has a soul that knows and feels something's off. So you can't really run away from this kind of stuff, unfortunately. In Miami, obviously, we have a major Yetzer Hara in Miami. This is not an easy city to be shomer, but that's why a person here has to get married quickly and enjoy the sun, but get married. Because you're going to enjoy the sun, you're going to get burnt by the sun. So Miami is a beautiful town, very relaxing, but how many people do we know that are completely spiritually lost here? And they don't even know why. Now we're telling them why. So Reb Nachman's approach is don't focus on the light, focus on the vessel. Focus on the vessel. Why am I not getting any light? So now we understand. So the woman, what can the woman do to fix the situation? Okay? Reb Nachman says through prayer, a person can exchange his zivug. He can actually change his marriage partner. That means you need to spend more time praying and less time looking. Because remember, it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing. You already looked for 20, 10 years. You've looked. You've gone everywhere. But no effort in spirituality. So we have to focus more on becoming the one than looking for the one. How do I become the one? I'm going to put my effort into prayer. When a person puts his effort into prayer, what happens? He can change the partner. He can actually pray. Maybe this guy's lost somewhere and he needs your prayers. Your prayers can actually open up his eyes and get back to you. So a woman needs to hustle in prayer. You're getting out hustled. And I know the girls that are getting married. And I know them. And I know what they're doing. They started doing his bodedut. They started praying. They started talking to Hashem. They started keeping Shabbat. They started doing things themselves. And guess what happens? They had a new reality. And they started attracting. That means you have to commit. Many people tell me, listen, Gedale, I don't know, how do I get a guy to commit? When somebody tells you everything, how do I get a guy to commit to me? He's not committing. Okay, I said, usually in Judaism, it's measure for measure. That means when you commit, somebody will commit to you. So I said, okay, let's commit to something. What are we going to commit to? Let's commit to Shabbat. No, not for me. Okay. Let's commit to candles. No, I don't like the time. I like to come when I like to do when I do it. Okay, no candles either. Okay, let's commit to this. No, I don't like this. But how do I get him to commit to me? There's your answer. You're not committing to anything. Nobody's going to commit to you. Measure for measure. So the best thing a person could do is take on something and commit. Why? Because we need to make the lower arousal. It's not heaven just changes things and you go by the mazalot and you go by if you're Scorpio or Pisces. No, you can change your mazal. A person can change his mazal by prayer. Prayer can change nature. So if you're smart, what do? You change nature. You go against nature. And a person can actually change his zivug. Change his zivug from prayer. So if a woman, if you're not spending 15, 20 minutes a day asking, praying for clarity to find your soulmate, and just spending, say, 9 hours looking and no time praying, you don't have the right formula. You don't have the right formula. You need to put it into prayer. Because why? Because prayer builds a relationship with God, and through that relationship with God, it teaches you that anything you receive that's good for you, you need to pray for it. Why? Because if I didn't have to pray for something, then everything I would get it for granted. Why should I pray? You become arrogant. When we walk around life and we say, I get everything, I don't have to pray for it, then we become arrogant and then we get into the expectation business. But when we say, everything I get, I pray for, then it stands because you build the vessel. When we pray, we build the vessel, and that specific thing comes to the person. So anything you get, the Arizal says, without prayer, it's detrimental. Because you didn't build it, you didn't work for it. That's the way it is. So again, no prayer, no commitment, and you're going to the same singles event, don't expect anything else. Unless you change something. You got to change something. Got to change. Also, the pickiness is crazy. I hear these stories. He has this problem. I said, wait until you get married. That's going to be 1% of what you're going to deal with. You are completely in an illusion. Marriage is all about overlooking things and looking to give. But if I'm focusing on majoring in minor things, on every little thing I don't like in the guy, what do you think you're going to get in for? You don't even know where you started. You're in the heavyweight. Wait until you get into the heavyweight. When you're living with somebody, now you're dating them. You should be in La La Land. But when you're living with somebody, that's real. So the bottom line, guys, until you get married, you're still in the AAA spiritually. You want to get to the majors, you got to get married. And the first place to start is by fixing your Brit, taking the Tikkun HaKlali challenge, learning Torah, feeding your soul oxygen. Otherwise, you're getting cooled off by the Yetzer Hara. That's what the Yetzer Hara does. The women have to spend more time praying, more time committing. You're more spiritual than men anyway. Women have a higher soul. They don't come here to get rectified. We come here to fix. We're doing the majority of the work. So remember, we have to go to give. Look for a guy with potential. Maybe he's not a billionaire yet, but look for a guy with potential. I can get the guy to there. I can get him. I could be Jeff Bezos' wife. But if you just say, yeah, dating Jeff Bezos, good for you. Who wouldn't date Jeff Bezos? Who wouldn't? But you be the girl that says, I made my husband become who he is. Then you have something you're proud of. Then you feel accomplished. Then you build it together. It's a whole different ballgame. And stop focusing on little things. So I don't want to hammer you guys too much tonight, but I think you got enough tonight. I have this 40-day challenge for the guys. If they want, it's on my WhatsApp group. We could set up a WhatsApp group. Right away, the only way to get married and to have clarity, because you can go dating with no clarity. How do you know what's good for you? You're going to pick the wrong person. So first thing is we do the Tikkun HaKlali, we do the spiritual cleansing, and then your your parnasa changes. Remember the name Mazal. Everybody's into Mazal. Rabbi, give me a bracha from Mazal. Give me a bracha from Mazal. Mazal means Motzi Zel Levatala. Your Mazal is connected to spilling your seed. How do you like that one? Don't forget the red string. Stop I can give you a tikkun klali, and give me the money for the red string. You'll make more money. So this is where it all works. Why? Why is it so difficult? Because it's hard for you. Anything that's easy for you, it's not good for you. Anything spiritually that you have to work hard for, that's what you get reward for. Because look at the temptations, look what's going on. So anything easy, it's not going to work. If it's hard spiritually and you earned it, that's when you change yourself, you change nature. And remember, we want to build our long-term self-respect. We want to starve our distractions and feed our focus. All right? That's today's class.